Hey guys, let's do a quick 10-minute prompt reset sprint and reset our mind and get out of our head and quiet that static and inner critic. And hopefully, we can get into a creative flow. Today, I have asked a professor from the American University. She's a literature professor, award-winning author of Raising Panic, and which is a wonderful book, and about what we will be talking about it a little later. But please help me welcome Rhonda Zimlich.
Hello.
I'm Victoria, and this is Struggle is Real. So before we dive into Professor Zimlich's amazing story, because when I first heard her at the DC Writers Salon, I could feel the authentic sound and voice of a person and writer who's on the path. And you said that someone was asking you a question, and you were like, just stay on the path,
Yes.
follow the path,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Keep going.
That's a one, like, that resonated with me, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people. And this is why I have asked her to bring a topic for today and what the prompt will be that we can explore about.
Yeah, great. So hello, and thank you so much, Victoria, for having me. Hi, everybody. Hope you're ready to get some words on the page. The prompt that I wanted to bring for you all is easy. It's a story you've told over and over again, and it can be anything. Maybe when you're meeting new people and you want to tell them how you moved to the place where you currently live, or you're at a family gathering and you want to talk about something your dad did, and you've told this story a couple of different times. So you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know those beats, and we're going to sketch those beats down quickly. But maybe when you come back to it, you want to expand a little bit more and lean into a metaphor, or maybe you want to create a poem that comes out of one of the words that shows up for you. There's no wrong answer. I like this idea of tell your story, but tell it slant, which is an Emily Dickinson quote, and it is drawn on in the book, Tell It Slant.
I got the book immediately.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It's a good book. It's like a university level book,
Yep,
right?
a lot of prompts in there. You can keep it simple. You can go through the whole thing. I like to just crack it open and write from there.
Thank you so much. This is a great recommendation, and I hope I can learn something for myself going forward. And today's question is, tell the story you've told most often and tell it slant, correct?
Yep.
And we have 10 minutes, you know the drill, and then we come back and we talk about from our hearts what came out of it. And I have questions for Rhonda. Look forward to. Okay, I'm going to put the timer on. 10 minutes. Let me do this and we can start. Okay, cool. And the time is up. This wonderfully short or long 10 minutes is up. Hi, Rhonda. Welcome back.
Yeah.
I see you've been writing. I said we have similar notebooks. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
mine is actually from a press,
Oh,
Jaded Ibis Press.
that's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So, how
Mhm.
did it go?
Great. Yeah, how about you?
It went well. Yes,
Yeah,
things came
okay.
out. I didn't expect to come out, but
Yeah, same.
go ahead. This is about, you don't have to
Okay.
tell us what you wrote about. It's up to you. It's a
Yeah.
completely free flow. But how was your experience?
It was
And
so good. I mean, I started writing about a dog of mine. I mean, truth be told, when we talked about the prompt, I made a list
yeah.
of, events, things that I've talked about over the years that I've maybe told that story over and over
Uh-huh.
again. And so I went to the list and just picked one, and I started writing about a dog that we had when I was a child that we accidentally entered into a dog show. We just stopped to watch the dog show, and the judge came over and said, "Please put your dog in the dog show." And he won Most Beautiful. So I was just writing that event, but then it turned into a little bit of poetry about dogs. And then I started telling the story again, but from the dog's point of view. What would that be like to be on a walk with your people and all of a sudden you're prancing around by leash, being run in a little circle and assessed by strangers?
And being beautiful.
For being beautiful. He was beautiful. He was an Afghan.
Uh-huh.
And that was another thing that I wrote that I'd completely forgotten. Even though he was purebred, we got the run to the litter, so we got a discount on him. That was how our family afforded such a lovely dog.
Uh-huh. What was his name?
Bogey, like Humphrey Bogart.
That's wonderful.
Yep. Also a good, way I could write into that. My parents' love for old movies, and yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad. I also
How about you?
cheated a little bit last night. I was thinking, what are
Mhm.
the stories? And of course, there's so many, but there's one that was like, I was trying to do the anthology series. I don't know how it will work out, but then there was this one I wanted to write a poem about, and finally I was like, maybe I'm ready. Maybe I'm ready. It will be a little dark, but I'll send it to you.
Dark is okay.
If I finish it, it will take me time. But
Sure.
let's get back to
Okay,
you.
great.
Let's get
Yeah.
back to this. I met Rhonda at the DC Writer Salon,
Mhm.
and she was talking about her book from the inception to the publishing, to the whole process, and to the present. And I really loved everything you said, and I
thank you.
really think that your experience of the process, especially how the inspiration came to you, it's important to people. We need to know how you got on the path.
Sure. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I would love to. One of the I've met this poet, and his name is Jamal May, and he gave us a prompt. I was at a writing thing, and the prompt was noise. If there's a sound that brings nostalgia for you. And I grew up in a military town. I grew up in San Diego, California, not far from Miramar Air Force Base, where they were always flying jets overhead. And I remember the sonic booms of jets. But it was less the sonic booms of jets I was thinking of. I was thinking of a historic plane crash that happened in 1978, which also had the sort of a resonant sound of a sonic boom, very similar to a sonic boom. And I knew I had to write about it. And I wasn't sure how I would write about it, but I developed a character that maybe witnessed the plane crash, and the book grew out of that prompt.
I have to ask, like, you have to share this with others too. How did you came up with this character? I remember it. Yes, you told us. So please tell us, tell everyone else.
There's two sisters, and the book is called Raising Panic. The oldest sister, her name is PJ, and the younger sister, her name is Panic. So it's actually her name. And I sat down. I had been reading Elizabeth Gilbert, and Elizabeth Gilbert, famously wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love. And she also has another book that's more about creativity and craft called Big Magic. And in that book, she talks about the muse and how, you can access the muse. Anybody can do it. You sit down and you just say, is there a story out there to be told? Please come and tell me the story. And so I sat quietly and meditated for a few minutes. And I asked the question, okay, if there's a muse for me, who is it? And I distinctly heard this young person's voice, 14 years old, said, I'm ready to tell my story. And I just started to write down PJ's experience of having this younger sister and growing up in this time of the 1970s and what that looked like. It just, the writing after that was easy. I felt like I was just listening to her tell me the story.
That's wonderful. I dream about it. I dream about that revelation. The muse thing. I love the muse thing needs to also be developed.
That's right. Yeah. Pay attention, listen. Sure. Absolutely.
And you're a professor, and I think it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's such an asset, right?
Yes.
You combined the hard work with the divine muse. Whatever it is, it's definitely something from, it's like maybe subconscious, whatever it is. You knew it was real, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing I remember, I asked you, do you have writer's block? You're like, no, I don't have writer's
No.
block. Not everyone has writer's block or any kind of blocks. Again, I think that it's because of your lifelong experience in hard working and developing it, which is a very important thing for a lot of us to know. And another thing is, I think you have a lot of support from your family.
I do.
Tell us about that.
My husband also is a professor, and he does a little bit of literary like criticism. It's been a while since literature was his main focus, but he's my first reader always. He gets to read first, and I get the feedback from him. I don't think I have anything that's been published out in the world that he hasn't seen at least a couple of times, and he's a big supporter. But he also has a very careful eye, and so that's terrific. And my kiddos they're both college students. They're in their young 20s, and they're both really, really smart about writing, about creativity. And when I found out that the book had won an award, luckily everybody was home. The kids were home from college. My husband happened to be in the house when I got the email, and everybody sprang to action, right? One of my kids was taking notes as my husband was reading the contract out loud. And the other of my kiddos was like patting my back because I was very emotional and saying, "It's okay, Mama. This is wonderful. This is what you've always wanted," So it was just really, they've always been very supportive, and I'm very grateful for my family.
Yeah, this is wonderful. It's very important to surround yourself with people who support you. And then also you talked about the movie, which is it's another level. It's a cherry on top. Tell us.
This is really wonderful. So there's a young actor. Her name's Vivian Blair, and she and her team are working on adapting the book to a screenplay. And Vivian Blair has been in things like, she was in, I think her first feature film was with Sandra Bullock, and she was in Bird Box. As a tiny person, she was girl. They had two characters, girl and boy, and she was girl. Most recently, she's played in a movie called Goodrich with Michael Keaton. And then I came across her as the young Princess Leia in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney. And so I thought, I saw this facial expression she made, and it reminded me of the older character in the book. And I thought, we often sort of throw around, who would play your protagonist if you were going to cast the film version of your book? And I could never put my finger on anybody because young actors always grow up so fast. And one day I saw this clip of this young woman, and she just clearly came through to me as PJ. So I emailed her, and I just guessed her email address, and I sent an email, and I got this message back from her mother, because she was only 13 at the time, and I don't recommend cold emailing a 13-year-old, but she and her mother were both interested in the book, and they were glad that I reached out, and they asked if I could Zoom with them, and we met on Zoom, and I love her, and I love her mom, and she's so smart. She is a savant. This young person, I feel bolstered by the intelligence of this young woman, and also her willingness to work with the book. It's so flattering to have another artist want to turn my art into something else. So, back and forth, got the film rights all worked out, and there it's under contract with her and her production team now to adapt it to a screenplay by next September. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
Stay tuned. I love movies. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And the courage and the dedication and this willingness, right? Nobody can stop you when you know and you envision what you want. That's another thing. You are the a manifestation of that. Yeah.
I have a thing that I have to say. One of my very dear friends, Carla LaFleur, asked me before. I've always been a writer, but I hadn't really professionalized. And I was out with her one day, and she said, "Well, what would you do if you weren't afraid?" And I thought, oh, so many things, you know? And so I try to just put my fear aside and go after the thing that I want, even if I'm afraid. I mean, I was really afraid to go back to school and get my MFA. I went and did it, and the whole time I was terrified, but I had a great experience, and it really came to fruition in so many wonderful ways. I built a writing cohort, a great group of people that really support my writing and my work. I made a lot of professional connections, and I also started then teaching in a more professional capacity, and went from teaching middle schoolers to teaching at the extension and our community college to teaching at University of Oregon, and then coming out here to American University and teaching here now. So I'm if I'm afraid of something, I'm going to go for it anyways, right? And I encourage other people to do the same thing.
Yes, yes, and more people need to hear this, and people need to hear this from actual like life
Yeah,
examples, right?
folks that have done it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've done it, and look, it's so worth it. It's worth it. It's very difficult now.
It's
Yeah,
not easy.
yeah.
Just put one foot in front of the other. Don't give up. Yeah.
I have a question that just hit me. When
Yeah.
you were writing this book, like you said, you picture, you know how PJ
Yes.
looks, right?
Yes.
But what about everything else in the movie? Do you see the movie like do you see it like a movie in your head?
I do. I really do. It's very vivid. And the environment, I have a lot of people comment that the environment is such an aspect of this novel. And it really is. It's a unique environment. It's Southern California, but it's inland, it's high desert, it's chaparral, which is a specific habitat of plants and animals. And I love that area. It's where I grew up. And so I really wanted to capture it on the page, especially because a lot of California has been paved over. And so I wanted to bring a very vivid rendering to the setting. And I've learned that if you have a vivid setting for your story, it's easier for, your as a writer to enter into that space, and also for your reader to enter into the space. So I wanted to make it a place where even if you've never been there, maybe you can imagine the, Santa Ana winds or the sagebrush, right? And that was something I really wanted to bring in. And for me, that sort of set the film version in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
So I even see like in my head, I see this like panning in on the opening scene. The two sisters are playing hide and go seek, and really the older sister's trying to teach the younger sister that hiding is a skill, right? Especially for a young woman, hiding is a skill. And so she's telling her, you need to stay hidden all the time, right? Until you're found, keep quiet, stay hidden. But I see the scene as sort of coming in from above the vegetation and the chaparral to finding these young girls playing out in the wild.
Yeah, I started reading this book, and I can
Oh,
feel,
good.
yeah, and I can feel how this PJ, this girl,
Mm.
is caring for this
Oh, yeah.
kid, and there's so much love there and so much wisdom. This teenager is already an adult.
Yes. Yeah.
She's an adult, and I look forward to continuing this
Yes.
journey with
Yeah.
them. And I have a question. So Rhonda is in DC area. Do you have any events coming up that we can maybe like tell? I can maybe include in the
Yeah.
description. Maybe you're reading somewhere. You have some event coming
Hmm.
up that we can know about and come
I
along.
I have a poetry book coming out, and we have not scheduled any of the events yet, but the name of the poetry book is called Once Dormant Volcano,
Mm-hmm.
and it's available with Finishing Line Press. It's on pre-sale right now. It comes in November. And I will say that the other, gosh, I really want to get this right. We are doing a reading at the Writers Center in Bethesda, which is just outside of DC. And it is in November. I'm so sorry. My editors and publisher they're going to kill me for not having a.
It's okay. It's okay. Maybe you can tell me later.
Yes, I
you send me
will.
later,
totally
then I will definitely
yes.
include in the description because I think it will be a great idea, and the Writer Center is awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come to the DC Writer Salon too.
I would love it. Yes.
Yeah, we can arrange that. It would be great.
And it's the collection. It's an anthology of people from Maryland writing about Maryland, and one of the editors, Diana Friedman, does workshops around the DMV, and she's terrific. And when she had this idea for this anthology, you know, she tapped a couple of us to write, and I'm excited. I have a fun story in there about Old Bay.
I love it. Yes, I'm excited because I want to see you also in action.
Yes,
This is a wonderful topic to close on. Thank you so much,
You're
Rhonda.
so welcome. Thanks for having me. This was great.
I'm so glad you had fun. You guys follow your bliss, and the doors will open.
That's right.
Where there weren't any, right?
That's right.
Yes. See you next time. Same time, same place.